My name is Hudson Funk, and this is Hudson Funk Ministries. And generally, if you don't know me, I normally teach. I do series on teachings on biblical factors. And on today's episode, which is going to be a little bit of a special episode, we thought me and some buddies would go into the city and go interview some people, get their insight on life, get their insight on faith, you know, the meaning of what all this is, advice to younger people and to other generations out there that they may need and different periods of times that they are. But without further ado, enjoy this episode. All right, first question. If you could see your whole life from start to finish, would you change things?
I guess yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, there are decisions you make that in hindsight you might do different,
Yeah. Can you recall a moment in your life when you felt a deep sense of purpose or calling? What was it and how did it shape you?
I guess I would have to think long about that. When my daughter was born.
Your daughter was born?
Yeah. That gives a sense of purpose that you are responsible for somebody.
To provide.
You have to take care of that one and provide all she needs.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you could see your whole life from the start to finish, would you change things?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What specific things do you think you'd change?
I feel like I would be more open-minded, you know. I feel like when I was younger, I didn't have an open mind. So yeah, I would try and be more open-minded.
More open-minded?
Yeah.
Can you recall a moment in your life when you felt a deep sense of purpose or calling? What was it and how did it shape you?
So recently, I started kickboxing. Yeah, cause I used to do track, and every day I would feel bad because I felt like I wasn't improving. But ever since I started kickboxing, it kind of changed my life because it made me more confident. And yeah, I just feel like in life you have to find something that, makes you, that makes you, change your outlook on life, basically. Yeah.
How have you seen your faith or beliefs evolve over time, especially during difficult moments in your life?
It helped me. It helped me in difficult phases of my life to guide me somewhat.
How do you stay grounded or centered when life feels overwhelming? Is there a particular practice or belief that helps you stay focused?
It's family.
Family.
Yeah. Thinking that you have a role in that family, you're a husband, you're a father. It
Awesome.
Keeps you grounded.
Sure. Have there been any moments when you felt God or a higher power was present in your life in a way that you can't quite explain?
Yeah.
Yeah?
There have been, yeah, I guess so. But as you said, I can't explain.
That's part of the question.
What religion do you believe in?
I'm a Christian.
You're a Christian?
Oh yeah.
For how long now?
I was born as, into a Christian family, so all what I've known all my life is Christianity.
Okay, and then were you born here?
I know. I was born in Nigeria.
Okay, and then when did you immigrate here?
That was 15 years ago.
And then
I'm a Canadian citizen now, though.
Okay.
I have my passport, Canadian passport.
And then have you noticed any changes between Christianity there and Christianity here?
Oh yeah, for sure. In my home country, we only have two classes, the poor and the rich. If you are the rich, you're gonna have your own house, no mortgage for sure in my home country.
Yeah.
So you build your own house.
Yeah.
And we have people who stay in a face-to-face house. Face-to-face house is just paying for one room. You share the toilet, the kitchen, you share every other thing. So those are the life of poor people, they share every kitchen, toilet, bathroom.
Yeah.
But the rich guys, they build their own house from the scratch and they have enough money to buy a car or something like that. So they go to church. Those who are poor go to church and they find hope.
Yeah.
Hope in the sense that there's a place we go to after we die. There's a supreme being, that's out there controlling the universe.
Yeah.
Nothing happened out of emptiness, there's a supreme being that is in charge of, everything that happens. So those poor people believe in life in heaven, life after death, better life in heaven. Why the rich think that they have to enjoy everything in the world,
Yeah.
So, but in Canada, I can't even find the poor people. Like everybody have something to eat, right?
Yeah.
Everybody have a place to stay, even when they can't afford it. Government help them, So I don't see so many religious people in Canada because everybody just want to live for today and enjoy themselves in Canada. Whereas in my own country, the poor see hope in heaven, see life after death, and they're working towards that. But in Canada, everybody just want to have good life or something like that.
Yeah.
They don't even care to go to church. Like my church, we're very few, just because a lot of people are busy with athlete things like activities, fun. They don't even have time to go to church. In my church, benches are empty on Sundays. We only have some old folks, like coming to worship. I don't even see young people like me in the church.
Yeah.
So in Canada, it's a different ball game because people just want to enjoy everything on earth.
And compare that to back home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How have you seen your faith or beliefs evolve over time, especially during difficult moments in your life?
When my aunt was diagnosed with cancer, when my aunt was diagnosed with cancer, I found myself praying a lot. And it didn't really change. I just felt like I started depending on prayer more because I felt like it was I kind of needed it because it felt like I was speaking to myself when I prayed. So I feel like in times when I'm going through something, I usually turn to prayer,
For sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but honestly, it's something we all have to go through. Death is something that's going to happen one way or the other.
For sure.
Yeah.
How was that experienced change the way that you go through life?
I feel like that experience itself made me, actually realize that life is short, you could die at any time. So, you just have to do what you actually love, regardless of what anyone thinks. So I feel like that was how that experience changed my life.
A great response. Thank you.
What would you say is the biggest lesson you've learned from times when you felt lost or unsure?
I think that, it's okay to feel unsure in life and that you might not fit in or that, things might not be going the way you planned it. And sometimes that's just life kind of bringing you in and saying like, hey, you know what, this isn't the right path. This isn't the right way that you should be going right now. You need to take a step back, reflect on what's going on currently, and then see if you still want to continue that or if you want to go down a different path. Because I feel like sometimes people get tunnel vision on what they want to do with themselves, and that can lead them down either a really good path or a really bad path. So it's taking a moment to just, realize that this isn't what your life has to be, and that sometimes that's okay. And it's okay to feel lost or to feel that you have no purpose in life. It's just what you can do now to help yourself get better, even if it's just getting out of bed in the morning.
How has your faith or spiritual journey impacted your relationships with others?
You want to make sure the people you are with have also some kind of belief in something.
When you think about the legacy you want to leave behind, how do your faith and beliefs play into that vision?
Running out of steam. I never thought of that. This will keep me awake that night. I cannot answer that question.
What would you say is the biggest lesson you've learned from times when you felt lost or unsure?
You should just stick with your guts, like the feeling in your guts, because no one, like this life thing, no one knows the correct answer. So, you just have to trust your own guts, and in the end, if things don't work out, you can at least say that you tried.
At least you tried.
Yeah.
For sure. How do you define hope? And how has your understanding of it changed through your life's experiences?
I would say hope is the ability to keep on believing in whatever you want to happen. Like, for example, you could be you could write a test and you could feel like you failed, but if you hope that you're going to pass, you're still going to, keep on pushing. So I feel like, yeah, hope is really important.
Do you say hope has to do a lot with the way you perceive or think?
I think it has to do with like the way you think, because a lot of people, they give up easily, and I feel like it's because they don't have a lot of hope in whatever they're doing. So,
For sure.
I feel like it's in the way you think.
The way you think. If you could see your whole life from start to finish, would you change things? And if you could change things, what would they be?
So I think so far in my life, I would not change anything, just because I feel like all my experiences, like even my negative ones, have really just like shaped me as a person. And then for the future, if I can see like what's gonna happen in the future, I probably wouldn't change anything, just because I believe everything happens for a reason. So I think I would keep everything as is.
So you personally, do you have any regrets then?
Regrets?
Yeah.
No,
None.
none.
If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self about life and faith, what would it be?
Don't abandon it. Neither life nor faith.
What has been, we're almost done, don't worry. What has been one of the most difficult obstacles you faced, and how did your faith or beliefs help you get through it?
It's the faith in yourself that you can do it.
Believing in yourself.
Yeah.
In difficult moments, how do you find yourself staying grounded? Like, do you turn to religion?
There's a lot of hope in religion. Like when someone is depressed, if you don't know religion, it gets worse. But when you know religion, you can pray.
Yeah.
If you are Muslim, you pray. If you're Christian, you pray. If you do Buddhism, you meditate. It's kind of healing. It brings healing. So I wonder how some guys live their life without religion. Because when they are depressed, what do? I don't know. But for me, I just pray.
Yeah.
And I get better.
Yeah.
It's a kind of healing.
How do you define hope, and how has your understanding of it changed through your life's experiences?
Well, I have always gone by a motto to believe and to not hope, just because I feel that if you're hoping for something in the future, it's kind of hard to really transpire into something. So I've always gone off of a path that you need to believe that you can achieve something rather than hoping that that's what's going to happen. And, I got that from a sports psychologist when I was 10 years old, and it's still something that I'll follow now. So it's believing that I can accomplish something, and that I am capable of doing anything if I just have that belief beside me.
If you had to describe the most meaningful way faith has shown up in your daily life, what would you say?
So me personally, something I try to do is self-improvement. And I usually set goals for myself. And usually when I don't make these goals, I would say that, I'll feel bad. But honestly, prayer and, faith, it kind of helps you cope with it, because you keep on falling back to your ways, and faith is the only thing that can actually help you, keep your mind good.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Can you share a time when you doubted your beliefs or felt disconnected, and how did you navigate through that period?
Yes. I won't go too deep into it, but situations where people close in my life kind of do me wrong, it can be quite hard, I think, to just kind of try not to almost get revenge, but to kind of just forgive them. Yeah, if that makes sense.
So another question that I'd have for you then is, obviously people can be pretty brutal in this world. How have you learned to navigate through forgiveness to other people, and what sort of revelations that you need to have in order to fulfill that?
I think just realize that you never know what the other person's going through. And they could be mentally in a really bad place, and they might just need some kindness, even if they haven't shown it towards you.
Sure, so perspective.
Yeah.
Okay, for sure.
And then one last question before you go. Do you have one message to all those younger people in the world who don't believe in religion at all?
I don't want to blame them. If you are never exposed to religion when you were growing up, what do you expect? It's just gonna be another day they do whatever they want.
What do you think they should do when they feel lost in life?
I think they can find healing if they go back to religion. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but I just know they can find healing in religion. Because I find healing in the religion, like I find hope in religion. You know, without religion, sometimes I'm depressed, but religion keep me going.
What would you say to someone who feels overwhelmed by the state of the world and struggles to find hope in the midst of chaos?
It's a good time to ask that question, huh? Have hope.
Have hope. Great answer. Can you share a time when you doubted your beliefs or felt disconnected, and how did you navigate through that period?
Back to the basics. Go back to when everything was okay, and try to start fresh from there.
Have there been any moments when you felt God or like a higher power that was present in your life in a way that you could quite explain?
I feel like there has been moments, but I never really grew up in much of a religious town or having a religion. So I think that there has been times, like especially I had gone to Europe last year, and being in Italy and kind of observing, you know, it was Easter weekend, so my family is split between, they're both Ukrainian, but we have Greek Orthodox and Catholic Orthodox, so it's very, you know. So I think that there has been times where I've doubted myself, and there's just something that's happened where I just can't explain it. I do think that that could be God, but I think for myself, I haven't followed a religion growing up, so it's kind of, it is hard for me, but I think it's something that I've always been open to if I've had the opportunity.
Hold on, I got a few more questions that are really good. They're really good. They're touchy, okay?
Yeah.
When you think about the legacy you want to leave behind, how do your faith and beliefs play into that vision?
Honestly, I just want to have a good legacy. Like, I want to be a good person, you know, helping people around me. And I think that's what, like, my faith, like, pushes. It pushes for you to be good no matter what, even to people that are sinners, even to people that wrong you. Like, the Bible says, turn the other cheek. So, yeah, I think my faith just, like, makes me want to be a good person and leave a legacy that I was a good person. Because, like, I feel like that's all that matters, you know, in humanity. We just have to help ourselves.
How do you think our lives should how do you think our life should reflect when we truly believe? Do you feel your life reflects that, and how do you work toward aligning the two?
I think that, you know, if you can believe in something, then you should go for it. I think that lots of people don't follow their passion, or, you know, they don't listen to that voice telling you to go for it. So I think when it comes to like aligning that and bringing it together, that honestly, it's just, it's a mindset, it's a mental game, it's a physical game, and that if you put in the work, time, and dedication, that, you know, like I always go by, you put into it what you get out of it, you know. If you're going to put in 10%, you're going to get 10%. Put in 110%, you're going to get 110%. So I think that if you have something and you hear, you know, you have that little voice telling you, or it's something happens in your life that you can't explain, then that is a sign you should take it. And, you know, you shouldn't ignore those small hints.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so having recently graduated high school,
Yeah.
is there any advice you want to give people like recently starting in their freshman year?
I would say that take it slow. Don't rush into it. It is such a huge transition in your life. And it's okay if you don't know what you want to do. If you get into university and you realize that this might not be for me, then that's okay. If you feel that you want to change what you're doing, that's okay. You know, it's such a difficult time in your life because everything, all the friends that you once knew and the life that you once had planned out for 4 years is now gone. And graduation happens so fast that I think that you just need to slow down, and it's okay to feel lost.
Awesome. Okay, I have one last question then for you. What is the best piece of advice that you've received about living with integrity and faith in the modern world, or just simply the best piece of advice you could give to someone else?
Honestly, just live in the moment. don't think about what happened in the past or what's going to happen in the future. That only creates anxiety and doubt. So just focus on what's happening right now.
Sure, absolutely. Is there a particular passage from Scripture or a personal mantra that has carried you through some of life's toughest moments?
The Lord is my shepherd.
The Lord is your shepherd. Last question.
I cannot
What's
recite it.
the best piece of advice you've received about living with integrity and faith in the modern world?
Stay true to yourself.
Stay true to yourself. Well, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Yeah, great answers.
And then do you have one last message for everybody watching?
Last message is like, I like interdenominational congregation. I don't believe in one church is better than the other.
Yeah.
Like as Christian, I think we're supposed to be united and work together and serve God together. And we don't have to say, oh, I'm Catholic or I'm apostolic faith.
Yeah.
No, we just have to watch God together because we have the same God. And if somebody go far to study other religions, they have similarity that there is a supreme being called God, and there is a messenger between them, like Jesus for Christianity, Muhammad for Islam, Buddha for Buddhism. So we can see connections within so many religions, and which means there is element of truth, in religion.
Yeah. Well, it's been great talking with you, Peter.
Yeah,
Thank you for your
talking
time.
with you.
Yeah.
I just want to say a big shout out to the people. If you are watching this, or if you are one of the people that we interviewed, thank you very much for letting us interview. And also, if you guys liked watching this, let us know. Let me know in the comments or give me an email saying that you enjoyed this, because this takes a lot of work. This takes a lot of effort to do this stuff. And, if everybody hates it, I'm not going to keep on doing it. So anyways, thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day.